Hello, Gilmer Buckeye fans. Jeff Rash here, along with Coach Alan Metzel, and welcome to the Alan Metzel Coaches Show. I'm going to be your host for this season, and of course, our star of the show, the man in charge, Mr. Alan Metzel. So, Coach, thanks for meeting me up here. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, certainly. My pleasure. And as you can see, we're in the press box up here above beautiful Gilmer High School Stadium, and right beside the newly built Gilmer High School, which is the envy of all schools now in East Texas and one of the top schools. We'll talk a little bit about that. Sure, kind of get your feedback on that. But most of you guys out there that are watching this program, Alan is no stranger to any of the citizens of Gilmer. If you watch Buckeye football, you have watched Alan Metzel perform many times. Normally, he was the guy that was pulling Jeff Traylor off the sideline and handing him his cap and that kind of thing. But and spent a lot of time in the press box. In fact, I've seen you through the window many times during the broadcast as offensive coordinator. So this is your 19th season.
Yes, sir.
Right.
That is correct.
And you came from where when you came here?
It came from Union Grove to here back in 2001.
Yeah. And of course, you're local.
Yes, sir.
You went to Harmony.
That's right. Just down the street.
Down the street. And then we got you here in Gilmer.
Yes,
so
sir.
It's been a good
Excited
ride.
to be here and have enjoyed it the whole time.
Give everybody just a brief rundown. What have you done since you've been here? What's your resume here as far as a coach?
When I came back in 2001, I coached the quarterbacks and was also the head girls basketball coach and girls athletic coordinator. Worked with the track team. A few years later, I came back and became the head track coach and moved into passing coordinator and then eventually offensive coordinator and now to this position.
Yeah, so it's been a long time coming.
Long time coming. That's okay.
And you're pretty fired up.
Oh, I'm so excited to do it. I'm thrilled to get to be in this spot, Matt. Spending time with Jeff and Matt, I spent a lot of time studying them, what they do, quizzing them, making notes, creating a book, of what you want to do when that comes about for you.
Yeah. So, and you've had 19 years, obviously, to do that. A lot of experience, and a guy that's really, I've spent a lot of time with over the last 19 years, because that's about how long I've been involved with the program. And so I've watched, it's been fun to watch all these coaches, come in and grow and develop. And so I'm very excited for you. Personally, it's good, you and I are friends, and so it's fun for me to watch you get to step into this role, and I think it's the best obvious choice.
Thank you.
Kudos to the school board and Rick for making the right choice.
They've been very good to me. I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
I really am.
So we've got a tradition of winning here. Great program, but this is a really weird year.
No doubt.
2020, we currently, as we're filming this, we have two hurricanes barreling toward us, in South Texas, and the COVID thing and just the weirdness of 2020.
Right.
I mean, how's that affecting the program right now? How are you guys holding up?
Well, I think the key word has been flexibility. I always try and remember back to when we had the Iraq invasion, and one of the terms they talked about was the shock and awe, and the whole philosophy was you move, and whenever something stopped you, you just kind of move around it and keep going, but you were pushing to that goal. And so I kind of try and keep that mindset. We're going to have obstacles, and we just kind of have to step around them and keep pressing on. And so that's what we're having to do right now.
Yeah, and for those of you that don't know, Alan's brother is a colonel.
Colonel in the Army.
In the Army, and
Yes.
so and your son is now.
My son is in the 82nd Airborne at Fort Bragg.
Who was a former Buckeye, obviously.
Correct.
And we're proud of Luke and thank him for his service. He's probably going to watch this. So a lot of you find a lot of your strategies and things. I mean, you use a lot of military analogies.
Oh yeah. My brother and I, we talk all the time, leadership things, team building things. The sports is a mock battle. And so we're always, I'm wanting to pick their brain and try and find out ideas and ways to do things. And I read a lot, Colonel Hal Moore from the We Were Soldiers movie and so forth. I like reading his books on leadership. So it applies to us for sure.
It does.
Yeah.
And you're teaching those young men those same principles of
Absolutely.
discipline, teamwork, work ethic.
That's right.
Goal setting, all those kinds of stuff. And that's the thing that why I'm such a big fan of this program. It's not just football. It's not just about winning, although we're extremely competitive here. It's about teaching young men to be men.
That's our goal. We want to be able to, in 20, 30 years, see these guys come back in the field house and they've got their wife and their kids and they tell us where they're working and what they're doing in the community. And, at that time, those games are going to be a distant memory, and they're part of who we are. And that was part of the process of getting them where they are. But that's the goal, to become a man.
Well, it is. And you've been here long enough that you already started seeing that. You're
That's
seeing
right.
generations.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of people may not know this, but I happen to know this. You still text a whole bunch of players weekly. You send them scripture, encouragement. You keep up with their families.
You bet.
Don't you?
Every morning. And, it's just one of those things where guys have reached out through the years, and maybe they're struggling or whatever, and they say, hey, coach, you think you could send me something or whatever? And so I say, absolutely. And so we just lock in and roll with it. But I like having that contact. I like being able to stay up with them and for them to know that this is a forever thing.
Yeah.
It's not a just, well, what can you do for us? And let's get some W's on the board.
Didn't stop at graduation.
No.
Yeah, I think that's incredible and just a testament to the strength of the program. So let's talk about how the weirdness is going to spill over to the fan base.
Yes.
So obviously, we've got some good things that are going to come out of this. We're going to make lemonade, and we're going to talk about that.
Right.
But we also have some lemons, and that's live attendance at the game. So let's talk about that first. What are the rules that we're going to be faced with here in this stadium as well as when we travel?
Right. Well, you've got the scenario where the state, the UIL has said 50% capacity, and that's anywhere. Now, that's going to vary because everybody's stadium is different. So, when we go to Gladewater, the 50%, they've cut it off at 500. So, that's going to be different than when you get to come to Gilmer, where we have a good bit more than that.
Now, 500 on the visitor side.
On the visitor
and
side.
just to be clear, because there's a lot of people speculating, they're going to open the visitor side up to visitors. They're not going to spill over their crowd. We get the visitor side.
They will give us the opportunity. And the way that our school is going about this, they're trying to, with the limitations, make it where the parents of the families of the kids participating have the first opportunity to be involved, which just makes sense. Yes.
Okay.
So obviously the players, the drill team, the band, the cheerleaders, etc., they're going to have the first opportunity to get up to 4 tickets. And once that is done, once they've been given and their family's been given that opportunity, then it will open up to the public and they'll have the opportunity to purchase tickets.
Anything that's left over.
Correct.
Okay. So now, if that shocked your system, because, oh my gosh, how am I going to watch Buckeye football this year? We normally broadcast, like a radio version or internet version, but you can't watch the game. But UIL has made an exception. This is their 100th year anniversary, by the way. They've made an exception for just this year to allow us to live stream. We can actually broadcast live Gilmer Buckeye football games, which is going to be pretty cool. We've got some great new technology. E-Tex has stepped up and helped us out, bought us a new switcher and some other equipment. Eric Connitz, Joe Dodd, some of our regular guys that help us out all the time, and even some new faces, and Russell and some other guys have stepped up, and we're going to have several point of view cameras. And we're going to have one down on the 50 on the track. We're going to have one upstairs. We're going to have several different views, and we're going to be able to live stream. And it's going to look a little and feel a little bit like a college game. We're going to throw the score up on the screen and keep it up there in the lower third. I mean, so there's some things we've never been able to do before. Right. So, although I hate that people can't go and watch the games, at least we're going to be able to live stream the game. I mean,
Absolutely.
What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's fantastic, especially under the circumstances we're in, when you've got such a low number of people. Gilmer Gladewater, 500. You could probably put 500 on the grass, at a Gilmer Gladewater game.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So there's so many people that are going to want to be able to see it, and now they're going to be able to. Sometimes you have kids whose parents work in different states. They're across the country. Yeah. They have relatives. And now they're going to be able to
you said your brother would be able to watch it in Japan.
Be able to watch it in Japan, absolutely.
So it's going to be airing on GilmerBuckeyes.com. So if you go to GilmerBuckeyes.com, there's a little notation there that says listen to the link or watch the game live. You'll be able to click on that. You'll be able to go to a player. And we're also going to archive all the games. So if you want to go back and on demand watch any of the games, that's great. As well as this coaches show. They're going to be able to watch each week, an analysis of the upcoming team, an analysis of the game prior. So we've got some pretty cool things we're going to be able to do.
Absolutely. I think it's great for the community. You bet.
I hope so.
Yeah.
So we're excited about that. How about this new school?
Oh my gosh.
What's that doing for the kids, the morale, the teachers?
It's amazing. You walk down the hall and you feel like you're in one of the nicest places in East Texas. I mean, it's beautiful. And it's amazing the way the school board, Mr. Albritton, the people who set it up have thought things through. I mean, we're on the cutting edge, and the kids feel it. I mean, they feel it. They feel like they've been honored, because now they get the best.
Hey, we're worthy.
Absolutely.
And that will carry forward with how they perceive themselves in the world going forward. And so the technology that's involved there is just amazing. If you haven't had a chance, we're going to do a video run through, so we'll be able to play it this season. And everybody's watching kind of, live when we cut away to a timeout. We'll show you a little tour of the school facilities. So
they're going to enjoy it. They're going to love seeing it.
So this has been a weird year, but we're gonna endure.
We'll plow through.
We're gonna plow through.
That's right.
It's gonna be interesting. Hopefully, we're gonna make it all the way through.
Right.
We're gonna hope for the best there.
Right.
So let's talk some football.
Sure.
So your first year as head coach. What's the motto this year?
The motto is a Hebrew term it's called Athed. Is how it's pronounced. Like if you wrote it out phonetically, it'd be AW-THEED. It means already. It's talking about like a military mindset of being at the ready, and all the troops are ready for whatever is going to be coming and whatever you face. So we always stress it's about every single guy in the program, every person. You're only as strong as your weakest link. We don't want to have any weak links. We want every individual, regardless of what their role is. Some guys are going to have the role where the ball's in their hands more than others. Some guys are going to be in the background more. They're going to be blocking or doing the tackling, or their role may be in practice and a smaller role during the game. But every one of them have to be ready. And so we had several options for the guys, and they love that one.
Yeah, the captains actually get to choose the
4 or 5 options, and every one of them are like, we want that one.
Yeah, I like it.
That's right.
That's a great one. So let's talk a little specific. So I've watched several of your practices, and the guys seem really excited and really fired up this year. There's just an energy.
Right.
I don't know how to explain it, but I've even told you I feel that. I mean, it's like there's just a really cool energy despite this crazy year we're in.
Right.
And so what changes have you've been in this program a long time, so really you've been a player at a level where you could have made changes all for the last several years.
Sure.
Okay, so because you guys coach as a unit, as a team,
right.
And you've been the offensive coordinator, so you're able to make changes anyway. Now that you're the head coach, have you made any other significant changes defensively or offensively that we're going to see?
Well, I would say not so much from the standpoint of like the periods, 1 through 15 or 1 through 14, that sort of a thing, because we've always believed in a very high tempo practice. That's always something we want to do. Kind of got that mindset from Oregon and some of the teams that have gone so up tempo back when Chip Kelly was there. The thing that we've tried to stress is the relational part, coaches to players, players to players. The more teammates feel connected and involved and appreciated and held accountable and all those things, I think they're going to give more. I think one of the things that you are seeing also is you've got some young guys that we've been able to hire that, I've been coaching since my 29th year. These guys, they're young. They're very energetic.
They're very energetic.
They're flying around. They're into the guys.
And several former Buckeyes.
Yes. Dylan Bowman is one, that we've got. He's coaching in the secondary.
Daniel Dodd at
the linebacker spot, We
already had Bear.
Absolutely. Olin.
We already had Olin.
Exactly. So
we've got former players.
They bleed orange and black, and it means something to them. And those guys, when Daniel Dodd, who was first team All-State, says something, well, are they going to argue with him?
Yeah. He's got credibility.
That's right.
Yeah, he was on the first state championship, the 2004 state championship with his brother Michael.
That's right.
Both linebackers. A big win. You got Randall back.
Big win. Coach Kennedy, he's a dude. He's one of those guys that when he gets going out there, it's hard not to just kind of stop and look at him because he's taken that level of energy to another place. The way he holds his guys accountable, but they all know how much he loves them, and so there's just a passion there that everyone gravitates to.
Yeah. Well, I'm seeing a lot of energy out of the coaching staff as well as the players. Are there going to be any changes to the offense or defense that are?
Well,
are there any strategic changes that you can discuss?
Right. I'll just say every year we tweak things, because you have different strengths and weaknesses depending on who's graduated, who's coming in, so forth. So you're going to, some years you're going to see us throw the ball down the field more. Some years you're going to see us pound it more.
Yeah.
Depending on what
Personnel.
we have.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So those things you'll see. You get to about week 3 and you'll be going, oh, I see what they're doing.
Developing. Yeah.
Exactly.
We don't want to let the cat out.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into it too much.
Yeah.
Defensively, the thing that we've always, the black flag that we've always held our hat on, it's flying to the ball.
Yeah.
Energy. And I think you kind of saw that in the scrimmage that night.
I did. And I love one of the sayings that you guys use with the boys. It says your proximity to the ball at the end of the play determines your value. Or something like that. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yes.
If you're not close
to that ball,
you were
right.
useless that play.
That's exactly right. You're going to stand out there and watch other people
play.
Make the play. Yeah. You're probably not going to be out there very.
And that's why you see that black.
That's right.
That swarm.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Which is pretty cool.
It is.
So, Coach, have you ever had any like trick plays or something you wanted to do, and because you weren't the head coach, they wouldn't let you do it that you're going to do now?
Well, like you said, I've had an opportunity to do most of what I would like to do. We'll see. Yeah, when you're the head person, then you make the decision.
Yeah, you get to do it. Yeah.
And every head coach is going to model it after their own personality. I will say that I like to be aggressive. I think taking the issue to the forefront is something that I like to do.
You're a 4th and 1 guy?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we're a 4th and 8 guy a lot of times, just as long as we're not way back here on our own end too much.
Yeah.
But we want to keep the ball.
Yeah. So let's talk about this coming week. We can't talk about last week's win. Had a game. We had Terrell, but it was a scrimmage.
Sure.
So we got Gladewater.
Right.
Man, you talk about starting off right, right? So let's talk about that, and then we'll go in and talk a little bit about the district. So what are we going to face? Gladewater any good?
They are. They are. They went 3 or 4 rounds last year.
Yep.
Lost in double overtime, I think, in their playoff game. Really had an opportunity to win the game. So they're very talented, and they bring back a handful of guys. They've got a receiver that has tremendous hands. He's a guy that we've got to pay attention to.
Yeah.
And the quarterback's very quick. He can run. One of the things that you'll see from them is, they have that Longview style offense where they're going to have that fullback right up behind that quarterback. He's going to open up and try and get up into the line and get that 3 yards, right now.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then they've got that tailback who's about 9 yards deep and he's coming downhill. So they're going to come at you and they'll do that until they think they've lulled you to sleep and then they'll fake it and throw it deep.
Yeah.
So, you've got to be able to be physical. You've got to be gap sound. You've got to make sure that we get them off the field where they're not at 4th and 2 where they can go for it and do that dive. You've got to put them in a position where you get them out of their comfort zone and maybe get them to kick the ball to us and they're not eating that clock up. So they're pretty talented. Defensively, they're always sound. They're physical. That's one of the things they hang their hat on. So those are all things that we know we're going to get when we play a Gladewater team.
Yeah, and when those two teams play, everybody's coming 100%.
That's right. That's right.
It's the battle of G-Town.
That's right. You don't have to get your team up.
No, not for
in fact, we kind of have to bring them down a little bit. So they're ready to play.
So we've played some tough schedules all year. Let's talk about the district for a second. Let's jump ahead.
Okay.
And let's jump into the district. So we got a tough district. Clearly one of the toughest in the state.
I would agree.
4A, there's no question. I mean, we've been titled the District of Doom in the years past, and we got a lot of those same. Right. It's somebody in our district wins the state championship almost every year. Right. I mean, it's just going to be us. Right. It's going to be Pleasant Grove. It's going to be Carthage. It's going to be.
That's right.
It's just going to happen.
That's right.
And sometimes Division 1 and 2. So. What are we going to see this year? I know a lot of people may not know this, but Carthage actually moved down to Division 2, so it's right. Us. And so what are we going to see in district play this year?
You bet. District play, you've got Spring Hill at home to start. You've got Pittsburgh there second. Then we've got, I'm going to say LE, North Lamar, and then PG, in that order. So Spring Hill had a really good run last year. You know, they got into the playoffs and had some success there. They've had a coaching change with Coach Levier going to Gladewater, but they hired from within their staff, so you're going to see a lot of what they did last year, I would think. They're moving in a good direction. I think they're more athletic than they used to be.
Yeah,
that's the thing that
they've come on. They've played us well the last 2 years in a row.
Yeah, so they'll be talented. Pittsburgh, when you talk about Gladewater or Pittsburgh, they have the same people as we do. You know, they're just down the street.
Yeah.
So we look a lot alike from a standpoint of our dynamics.
Athleticism.
That's right.
Yeah.
The tight kids, the tough kids, the East Texas kids. And and Coach Baca does a tremendous job with them. Yeah. So they always play us well.
Always a competitor.
Always.
Yeah.
So that's another game that'll be tough. And we play them there. Then you move to Liberty Ilo. Liberty Ilo, the thing they're noted for is just athletes.
Speed.
You know, right. They just all throughout their roster, they have athletes. Last year they had a kind of an off year for them. I expect them to bounce back, you know.
Yeah.
I think that'll take place. Following that, North Lamar. I've not studied North Lamar. I've not played North Lamar in my whole coaching career. So, you know, they're a little bit further down the road, so I've not locked in on them a whole lot, but they're up there north of Paris. And I know the Paris area has plenty of athletes.
Oh, sure.
And then, of course, Game 10 right out here against PG. So, you know, we
it's on.
It's on. That's right.
It's always on.
They're very talented. They have about 8 guys coming back on their defense,
including Jackson,
Landon Jackson. You know, so they're very talented, and we're excited.
It's going to be a good game.
We're looking forward to getting after it.
We played them well in regular season last year, so I hope to say it again. So we got an exciting year coming up, folks. So I want to thank you for your time today. Yeah. Thanks for taking. I know you're busy. And to take this kind of time and give that kind of information week to week. Folks, we're going to broadcast every game that we can. I want to be clear about this. There's going to be some press boxes that doesn't have a good connection. We're going to try to use some wireless stuff. It could be intermittent. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't know how good the feed's going to be, but we're going to do our best. But we will broadcast regardless, you know, through the internet, through GilmerBuckeyes.com. So we're going to bring you the game one way or another. And if we can't broadcast it live, it'll be posted on that GilmerBuckeyes.com on-demand feed, so you can see that down below the player. So we hope you guys will follow us all year. I can't wait to we won't normally go through all of this that we went through today. So we'll normally jump in here and we'll talk about last week's game, maybe even watch some video together and kind of look at some key plays or whatever and talk about those, kind of get in your head what you were thinking in that scenario. I think that'll be fun. And then we'll talk about the week ahead of us. So that's kind of going to be our normal format. So anything you want to share, by the way, to the community? I know you're excited about this deal. And
just grateful to get to coach your kids. Grateful to get to represent Gilmer School, Gilmer ISD. I love the people I work with. I love the community. Very honored to be in this position.
Dream job, right?
It is.
Dream job.
This is it. So I'm ready to go do it.
I'm ready for you to go do it too. Coach, thanks again.
Appreciate you.
Guys, on behalf of myself, Jeff Rash, and new head coach of the Gilmer Buckeyes, Alan Metzel, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.